Okay, we are live. Hi, everyone. Today I'm speaking to one of my clients, Sarah, from the Biz Reboot, who has been absolutely incredible to work with. I had so much fun working with her, as I do with all my clients. But Sarah has been a particularly fun client to work with because she has an absolutely amazing mindset around her business and her life already. She's an athlete. She's absolutely killing it in her business and her personal life. So I'm more than happy today to introduce you guys to Sarah and hear her story of her experience in the Biz Reboot. But yeah, she's just been such a joy to work with because she's taken all the learnings from the Biz Reboot, really gone ahead and implemented it, and she's really invested the time and energy to work on her mindset and work on her packages and just create an amazing business. So I am so proud of Sarah, and I'm so happy that we're doing this video together today to talk about her experience. Welcome, Sarah, and thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today.
Oh, thank you. And that's really sweet of you to say, Satya. That's really nice.
Great. So how are you doing today? How's life in Vancouver?
Life in Vancouver is grand as always. It's such a beautiful city, and I feel really lucky to live here. And I work with clients from all over North America mostly, but having Vancouver as my home base just is amazing. It's an outdoor playground, and I just love being here.
Amazing. And has spring officially started yet or no?
Oh, yes. Everything is in full bloom. And actually, it's probably the bloom is a bit, it's ended by now. But yeah, it's actually quite warm here and sunny. And, there's still a little bit of snow on the mountains, but it's just, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, I can imagine. I love summer in the Northern Hemisphere. And this is coming from somebody who's like, I've always kind of lived around the equator my entire life, right? I've been in Mumbai and in Singapore, not quite Southern Hemisphere, but it's like I've been right on the equator for like pretty much my entire life. But whenever I go to like Europe in the summer or like North America in the summer, like it's just so beautiful. It's very different to like the tropical life for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, awesome. Great. So yeah, obviously we're talking about Biz Reboot today. So let's jump right into that. And so the first question that I wanted to ask you was, what was going on in your business before you joined the program, right? Like what was going on? Did you have any problems in your business? What inspired you to join the program?
Yeah, I'm trying to think back. I was feeling really overwhelmed. So my business, I work with health researchers to put in big grants to federal funding agencies in Canada and the US. And because I work with clients who have very specific deadlines, and I obviously want to work with as many as possible for each deadline, I was just feeling totally run down and scrambling to get all of these grant applications out the door and just managing everybody. It just felt it felt impossible.
Right.
And so when I found the Reboot and you were talking about, creating packages and sort of systematizing things a bit more, I thought that I really need that. That would really help me. And that at the time was the biggest investment I had ever made in my business. And I was really nervous about it, especially because most of the programs that I'd taken before, I didn't feel like they were ever talking to me. Like because my business is so niche, kind of weird. I always felt like I had to do a lot of extra work to make whatever advice they were giving me work for me. And I figured it would be the same thing, but I knew that I needed to do that for myself to just make things a little easier. And I knew that that making that investment and having someone walk me through the process would really help me get there faster.
Absolutely. And so when you joined the program, how many years had you already been in business at that point?
I had been in business, I think, for about a year and a half.
Okay.
So not that long. I had sort of gradually shifted over into being in my business full time. So I'm not totally sure, but I think I'm trying to remember when I took the Biz Reboot. It would have been.
It would have been about, I think you finished about 6 months ago, because it's been a while since we connected. So I think you finished the program about 6 months ago.
Okay. So then, so then I would have been like a year and a half, 2 years into business. And I really felt at that point, like I was still throwing spaghetti against the wall. Like I actually thought I had niched down quite a lot, and I called myself an academic editor, and I was working with people who had jobs at universities, who were trying to get papers published and trying to get grants out the door. And I thought that was enough. Like that was enough of a niche, but I still felt I didn't know where my next client was going to come from, and it was really stressful. And then the ones that I did have, like I said, it just felt really overwhelming to try to do the kind of work that I wanted to do. So so pretty early on in my business, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be like early-ish, but I also know for a fact that like once you've spent a year working on your business, or definitely this was the case in my own business, right? Like you kind of reach that point where you want to sometimes just take a breather, look at your business and go, hey, what's working and what's not working, right? So, and it's actually better to do that sooner rather than later. Because of course, after we've had people who've come into the program who have 10 years of experience running their business. They've literally been running their business for 10 years. They're like in their late 40s, early 50s. And then they're like, oh shit, like I've been in business for 10 years, but I've not actually ever taken a moment to look at it and be like, what's working, what's not working, what kind of support do I need? So I don't think there's ever a time that is too early. It's like there's no such thing as, oh, it's like too early to get support. Like if you have a business, you've had clients and you've had experience, you have testimonials, then it's time like that you can start optimizing things, right? Of course, if you've started your business 2 months back, maybe it's too early. But once you've spent a year and you've made a certain amount of money, then it just becomes one of those things which is like you can take to the next level pretty easily if you just invest in the right person. So I'm curious, and I'm wondering if you're happy to share this. Like, how much money did you make per year on average in that first couple of years in your business before the program?
So because I was kind of shifting from one, like I had started my business more as a consultant, and I kind of tacked it on to another job that I had. So I think the first year that I was in business on my own, I made about $60,000. Okay. Which isn't bad. Honestly, for me, that was like a miracle that I could work for myself and make a go of it. But part of that was still consulting income from a stable consulting job that I had, and the rest of it was in my business, but it came from just a bunch of random places. Like I was just doing everything and anything to get clients, which I mean, I think that's pretty normal in your first year to be able to do that. And just tacking on to something that you said earlier, one of the things that I found really helpful after that first year, and I think it was just before I started the Biz Reboot, was actually having a year's worth of data to go back and say, like, where did my money come from and what was I making money doing? And
we do that in the program.
What did I actually like doing? So what can I double down on? What do I want to get rid of? That kind of thing. And I found that to be really helpful going forward and setting me up for success in the Biz Reboot.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. So what would you say, like, what did you like the most about the program? Let's start there. And then I have a few other like things to ask you as well. But what did you like the most about the program?
I liked the way that you set it out week by week, so that we had something to work on, we had something to focus on, we had homework. I mean, I work with academics, so I'm totally a school nerd. So I always like doing stuff and having something to do. And I find when I start programs, I get really amped about like, what are all the things I can do? And let me get started right now. So I really enjoyed having having some guidance around what to focus on. And I thought you laid it out really well in terms of what to do first and then progressing through the stages.
Mm-hmm.
What I found most helpful in the program was definitely the productizing
Mm-hmm.
aspects of it. So really laying out, how do you turn your service into a product, and how do you make it easier for clients to understand what it is that you're offering, and how can you make it more professional by giving them a better idea of how this all works. I found that to be super, super helpful. And honestly,
Amazing.
some of the books that you recommended, I was like, oh, I've never heard of these. These are so great. And of course, I devoured all of those as well. So that was something I found really helpful. And I also really enjoyed interacting with the other members of Biz Reboot. That was really, really nice for me to see how successful everyone else was, and to kind of follow along with their journeys. I really enjoy that. The one thing that I wish that we had been able to do in that round, and I don't know if you're doing it differently in future rounds, is actually, get on a Zoom call and see each other and interact on video, because we did it all on Facebook, and
Live, yes.
we were on Facebook Live, but we were just like typing in the comments, and I was like, man, it'd be so nice to actually like be on a video chat with everybody and be able to see.
We changed that, by the way.
I wondered if you did, but that was one thing I was like, oh, I really wish that we could have done that, because these people are all so wonderful and amazing.
Yeah. So the thing is, the interesting thing is, like, I remember when you were going through the initial cohort, we already had pretty long Facebook lives, right? We had basically had like an hour, 15 minutes, an hour, 20-minute Facebook lives. And then in the following cohort, we decided to test it with Zoom calls. And of course, people love it. Like, people love the Zoom calls. And now there's like two-way like chat and all of those things. Yeah. But now all our calls run over 2 hours. So so
I guess it makes sense, right? Is everybody just wants to have a good time with each other. And so it kind of drags on a bit. So I guess there are pluses or minuses. That just seems like a big plus to me, but
for sure. No, I love it too. Like, I love that level of interaction too. So like, I think 2 hours is great, but I think also because my perspective is like, I don't have a problem with being on these calls for 2 hours, right? Because I love my clients. I love you. I mean, you know this. I love our calls. It's so much fun for everyone involved. But it's just that if somebody needs to watch the replay later, expecting someone to watch a 2-hour replay is like a lot. So if you're coming to the call live, that's fine. But like, if you're watching the replay, like a 2-hour replay can be really daunting. So I just don't want the people who are on the replay schedule to miss out on, like, the stuff that they actually need. So which is why we try to keep it like as snappy as possible, but sometimes snappy is 2 hours. So that's just what it is. For sure. That definitely is something that has changed. So I wanted to ask you another question about what you just mentioned, which is like packaging and productized services, right? Did you think about this before the program, or was it just not something on your radar, or was it something that you were trying to do, but you couldn't figure out the formula to make it work?
Yeah, it was exactly that. I'd actually bought a small kind of DIY package your service program, and I did that, but there was still something that just wasn't working about it. And so I felt like I really needed a lot more guidance on how to do that properly. And so that was really what it was for me, was like, I know that this is something that I need to do. And I think that my service is packageable, but there's something about the way that I'm thinking about it that's just not working. And the other advice that I've gotten about how to do this is just it's not sticking.
Right. Got it. Okay, cool. So what changed in your business? Like, what are the biggest changes that you noticed in your business since you took the program?
Ease, for sure.
Right.
It's just more like, it's more predictable. So I think stress levels are a bit lower, like because my business is tied around very specific deadlines that
Right.
I know when they're coming every year. You
Yeah.
know, this is going to be a super busy time. It's like being an accountant. It's like, I know when tax time
Right.
is. I know I'm going to be super busy. But it also means that I can actually project my income.
Yeah.
And say, like, if I want to make this amount of money per year, I know that I need to have this many clients in this grant cycle and this many clients in this grant cycle. And then I can supplement it with a few things here and there. And so that to me, it was like a weight off my shoulders. I was just like, okay, fine. I can actually predict how this is going to go. And now that I have a plan, all I have to do is execute it. And that was a huge relief for me.
Amazing. Awesome. Let me see I have some questions here for you because I want to make sure that I didn't forget anything while we were on the call. Okay, so let's talk about results in your business, right? Because obviously for a lot of people who are considering the program, it really, like, they really do care about the dollars and cents, the actual like financial tangible results that they get. But of course, I feel like from my perspective, it's not just about the money, right? Because like you just said, ease is a big thing, like peace of mind, ease, and knowing that like your life is like, looking better, or like you know what you need to do, that having that clarity and having lower stress levels, all of these things are super important. But I also know that you got some really good like financial results in your business too. You were actually one of the top 3 highest earners in our
That's right. I was, wasn't I? Yeah.
in our Biz Reboot cohort. So I want to hear about like what results have you gotten. Absolutely happy to talk about money if you're comfortable. Or like what other results are you noticing in your business?
Yeah. So when I think either when I was in the Biz Reboot or in the couple of months after we graduated, I had a $15,000 month, and that tied in with one of the grant cycles. So that was the direct result of using packages and selling packages to clients. And I would love to say that has been consistent since then. But I would say the average since then has been closer to like 7,500 to 10,000, which is still, it's still really good. And I just noticed this a little while ago. My first quarter of 2019, I made double the income of the first quarter of 2018. So
amazing. I love that.
So that's another big win for me.
So that's exactly like before Biz Reboot and after Biz Reboot, right?
Before and after. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Like I'm so happy for you, and well done, well deserved. And obviously I think you get like 99.9% of the credit, because we can provide you with the best roadmap, but you have to implement it, right? So you did a fantastic job implementing. So yay, I'm so excited for you. That's amazing. So what about like the other, I would say, the intangible results that you've gotten from the program? Like what has it really helped you with apart from the money?
Definitely ease and clarity. And I would say for me, it's really important to have some predictability. And why am I in my own business if I want to be predictable? But I think it's not, maybe that's not exactly the right way to put it. But I think for me, what is really exciting about where I am now is this idea of like mapping out where I want to go and then just being able to go there. Obviously, finding clients and getting them to buy the packages is the ball game, but being able to sort of say, this is how much I want to make and this is what I need to do to get there, and then just trying to make that happen is so much easier for me than saying like, I don't know where my next client is going to come from, and I don't know what I'm going to sell them, and like, what's my next contract going to be? So that has been huge for me. Yeah.
Amazing. I love that. And so, so obviously I'm fully aware that Biz Reboot is not the only program in the world, and I'm not the only coach in the world, right? So I'm curious, what made you choose this program over everything else you could have chosen? Like there are some amazing 7-figure entrepreneurs running programs. Like why did you choose this program over all the other programs out there?
Well, I was on the webinar that you did to introduce the program when it first launched, and I really liked the simplicity of what you were saying. Like, if you want to
Mm-hmm.
make $15,000 in a month, you need to have a $5,000 package and sell 3 of them. I was like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you do, but how do I do that? And so to me, that was like, I honestly didn't think that my business was in a position um, to have high ticket um, products or to sell high ticket services. And so I took a chance. I was like, well, maybe I could if I learned how to do it in this way.
Right.
I mean, you seemed really warm and enthusiastic and generous with your time, and it just, for me, it was just the right time. As you said in the beginning, like it's never too early to assess where you are and then
Yeah.
make pivots. And I really felt like I can't keep doing this the way that I'm doing it, or I'm going to burn out, or I'm
Yeah.
going to quit this business because I don't actually enjoy it. And
Right.
so it just came along at exactly the right moment. And I just really resonated with the simplicity of what you were saying, and hoped that I could make that work for me.
Yeah. And I'm so glad that you did, like you did, you have made it work for you. And it's amazing that you doubled your income from what, first quarter 2018 to first quarter 2019. Like, think about it. Like, you can't just double your income when you're in a job, like you can't just get like,
Yeah.
nobody's going to come along and say, we just decided to double your pay. So that's pretty freaking awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I would say that what the next question I wanted to ask was, did you have any concerns before you joined the program? Like, what was coming up for you, like when you were making that decision?
Oh, well, for sure. And I'm pretty sure I mentioned this earlier. This was the biggest investment I'd ever made in my business. And I just thought, like, oh my God, what if it doesn't work?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was a lot of money for me at the time. And I hadn't been following you for that long. And so I thought,
Yeah.
like, I'm really taking a chance here. I'm nervous that this isn't gonna work.
Mm.
So that was definitely, I think, yeah, I really felt that way. And I did, I mean, I'll be honest, I had buyer's remorse as soon as I purchased it. I was like, oh no, I've made a huge mistake. Like,
Right.
what am I doing spending this kind of money? Like, oh, this is a really bad idea.
Yeah. And, buyer's remorse is a totally natural thing, right? Like, we
Yeah.
all have it. Like, that's what I tell a lot of my clients, because, one of the things that we do in the Biz Reboot, I know with the work that you did with Nicole and Hank, the mindset coaches, um, the thing that we are mostly coaching our clients is we're coaching them through fear, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
just what it is. It's like, if you
Yeah.
had not made that decision and then decided to stick with it, you wouldn't be where you are right now. So I'm actually so glad that you're bringing this up, because the fact that you could, like, look at the trajectory, right? We're talking about
Mhm.
going from earning $60,000 a year to having, like, so you said on average you're making between $7,500 to $10,000 per month, and you also have had $15,000 months in your business.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
a huge leap. We're talking about going
Yeah.
from $5,000 a month to $15,000 a month. But what I want to point out here is that, like, the things that you want the most are on the other side of fear. But the
Yeah.
truth is, so many people get paralyzed by that fear that they are willing to risk never finding out what's possible for them. So they're like, let me just save this little whatever amount of money that this coach wants me to invest. It's like, let me just save the small amount of money instead of going big and earning like all
Yeah.
the money that I've always wanted to earn. Like, and in your case, you have made multiples of what you
Yeah.
invested in the program, right?
Well, and I think I remember telling you when we were on our call talking about whether I was a good fit for the Biz Reboot. I remember saying to you, I know that what got me here is not going to get me there. Like, I
Yeah.
have to change something
Yeah.
to get where I want to go.
Yeah.
And I really believe that. And
Yeah.
it was true and continues to be true.
Yeah, 100%. And so it's like, that's what I tell people, like, when your fear comes up, that's not a sign that you need to stop or run in the opposite direction. That's not what fear is. Like, what fear is showing you is you can shine a light of love and faith on this topic, and you can transform your life forever. Like you can look at it in a slightly different way, and then you can move to that next level, because like really like the game of business or life is like, it's very much like playing like Super Mario or any of these video games, right? It's like when you go to the new level, there are going to be new demons you're fighting, and then you fight
Yeah.
those demons, and then you get to the next level. I'm not into video games, which is why I'm still making a Super Mario reference, but like, everybody gets that example. So
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
yeah. So now that you've gone through the program, like what if, say, your best friend was considering joining the Biz Reboot, what would you say to them?
What would I say to them? I would ask them what they want to get out of their business,
Uh-huh.
and I would tell them that if they think that their service that they're offering is, like, if they believe in what they're offering and believe that they can present it to prospective clients in a way that is going to be really appealing, then the Biz Reboot is a great way to walk you through that process.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I'm curious, and I want to know more about this, because I know for most people who go through my program, they love Nicole and Hank. And I keep joking with everybody. I'm like, I feel like a step parent, because you love Nicole and Hank more than you love me. Because like that's like that's, it's just a joke, but it's like it's a common consensus that everybody loves Nicole and Hank. How was your experience working with the mindset coaches, and what changed for you on the mindset side?
Well, now I feel really bad that I haven't mentioned them at all, because I think for me, Nicole and Hank were like, I don't know if you've heard that expression that's like, if you have really good, like if you're seeing a theater production and there's really good lighting, you don't actually notice it if they're doing it really well. And so I feel like Nicole and Hank for me were just like, they were sort of anchors to my whole experience.
Yeah.
And were just like their teachings, everything that they brought to the Biz Reboots was sort of infused in the whole program.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that they don't have like glittering personalities and aren't a lot of fun, because they were. I mean, we had such a great time with them. But
Yeah.
I think because the mindset piece was so baked into what the Biz Reboot was, like the Biz Reboot experience was, I think I've sort of like forgotten how, like I haven't separated it out to say, oh yeah, that piece was really important, because it was so much a part of the whole program.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. It's like, it's one of those things, like when you have, and I completely understand where you're coming from, which is like when you have, like you said, lighting in theater production, when it's bad, you notice it. But
Yeah,
when it's
exactly.
good, it's like, but when it's good, you kind of take it for granted a little bit.
Well, yeah, when it's good, you think it's all you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're like, oh, it's my mindset. I did all this really great work, and I'm such a genius. But no, I mean, Nicole and Hank really brought such an important perspective to the program and really helped me. I'm trying to think specifically what they helped me with. Oh yeah. So just a quick example. I was really sort of panicking because my clientele are really, I mean, they're scientists. They like data. They like results. And I was really struggling with, well, how do I convince them that what I do is important? Because I help them with writing. I help them with the like artsy stuff, and they don't think that matters. So like, how do I convince them that this is going to get them where they want to go? And Nicole and Hank in one of our calls said, well, if you're working with scientists and they care about data, then give them data. Like, tell them what your hit rate is. Like, keep track of how many successful grants that you've submitted, the amount of money that you've earned for other people, and tell them that. And that in and of itself is a great testimonial for what you do. And sure enough, it works. It totally works. And it helped me feel more confident about my own abilities and what I can offer clients. So like, there's just a really quick example of the way that they help me overcome a limiting belief that like, oh, scientists don't really care about what I can do for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's like confidence is really everything, right? It's
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
Like it's the thing is like when we are not confident in business situations, like we just shoot ourselves in our own foot, right? It's like if you don't believe in yourself, why would your client believe in you? If you don't think that you're worthy of charging a certain amount of money or being treated a certain way or worthy of being respected, why would they respect you, right? It's like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you kind of set the standard for how people show up in your relationship and how they support you. And that's not just in business, it's in your personal life, it's with your children, it's everywhere, right? It's like you
Yeah.
decide how other people will treat you. So that's that's a very important thing, because once you believe in yourself, like you're unstoppable. When you're going out there and you're doing amazing things, like you are, like your work is amazing, you do get amazing results. And but like, yeah, well, once you have that confidence piece in place, then like everything changes for the better.
Well, that's it. And now that I reflect on it, I really think that that the program helped me build some of that confidence, both through the work that I did with you and Nicole and Hank, but also just being able to put something out there and say, this is what I can do for you. This is how much it costs, and it's expensive, but it's worth it. This is, this is going to help you. This is going to get you
Love
where
that.
you want to go. And if it's not the right time for you, or you don't believe in this, then fine. But
Yeah.
I know that this works. I know that I can get you where you want to go. And I'm confident in that.
Yeah, love it. Love it so much. Okay, great. So last couple of questions before I let you go. So the first question is, if you had to say the top 3 benefits that you experienced as a result of joining the program, what would it be?
Top 3 benefits. Yeah, I think I'm going to come back to clarity. That that really felt important to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean financial benefits. Yeah,
For sure. Yeah, everybody loves money.
Yeah. And ease. I mean, really, just knowing what's in front of me. I really moved from a place of chaos and overwhelm and confusion to just knowing, like, nope, this is who I serve. This is what I serve them, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it makes things so much easier.
Oh, for sure. And I love that. I love hearing that. And actually, it's so interesting because almost every single person who's gone through the Biz Reboot ends up talking about clarity. Like when we do these like testimonial videos, every single person ends up talking about clarity, because I feel like it's one of those things where it's also like that good theater production thing, which is like when you don't have clarity, you don't know how much it's affecting the quality of your life. But when you do have amazing clarity, you're like, holy shit, I had no idea life could be this clear and this easy. It's like walking around in the world with like bad eyes and not knowing you needed glasses, and you're like, why is everything fuzzy? And then you wear glasses and everything just comes into ultra HD, and you're like, holy shit, like this is possible, right? So it's like you just do. I don't think people know what's possible until they have clarity, and then once they do, they're like, how the hell did I go through business without it?
Well, and even if you know that you need clarity, I mean, I found it was really hard to just figure it out on my own. Like I really struggled with that. I was like, I know I need to, something's not working, and I know I need to figure out what it is and get clear on it, but what is it and how do I do it? And that was the big game changer for me.
Love that. I love that. And yeah, of course, in the program, there's a step-by-step process that takes you through everything. So there's nothing, we're not leaving anything to guesswork, right? Like you figure it out all in like an 8-week program, which is what I love. And this is something that I tell a lot of people who are considering the program as well, which is that, look, if you spent the next 2 years trying to figure this out, you probably could. But it's like, do you want to spend the next 2 years figuring it out, or do you want to do it in 8 weeks and start earning a lot more money within 90 days? Like, it's up to you, right? It's like, it's really a choice. If that's the call you're taking, like, I want to figure this out on my own in the next 2 years, or I want to do it in 8 weeks and move forward and change my business and life forever. It's like when you look at it that way, then like the it's very obvious, because obviously the only, and this is something I don't think a lot of people recognize actually, the only non-renewable resource we have is time, right? It's like, this is the biggest non-renewable resource. So if you are spending 2 years trying to figure it out on your own, then just be aware of the fact that you are spending the only resource that you can't earn
Yep.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just good to have that perspective in your head. So last and final question for you. What surprised you the most about joining the program? Like, what was something that you were not expecting that you were pleasantly surprised about?
I mean, I think if I had to choose one thing, it would probably just be how much fun we had on those calls with Nicole and Hank and you. Like it was really a lot of fun. And that, I mean, obviously that's going to make an 8-week program where you're doing a lot of really intense work and shifting in huge ways just a lot better. And making that process joyful. If there's joy that's brought into the conversations and the interactions, like it's just so much better when you can enjoy it. And I think tied to that is just I really appreciated that it was a small and intimate group, and we did cheer each other on, and we got to know each other in terms of what we were going through and our successes and all of that. But it really felt like we were all doing it together, and we were enjoying it, and we were cheering each other on. And I really love that.
Yeah, amazing. I love it. All right, that's all the questions I have. So thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story. This has obviously been so amazing. It's been so lovely to hear about your story and hear about all the success that you've had. And of course, 100% well-deserved. It's honestly 100% of the credit belongs to you, because you showed up and you did the work in such an amazing way. And of course you got results, and you buckled down for your mindset, the mindset part as well. And you have the perfect mindset. So you were honestly one of my dream clients, right? And it was such a joy for me to work with you. So thank you so much for trusting me. Thank you for doing this with us, because you've just been such a joy to work with. And of course, we have stayed connected after the program has ended as well. But I'm looking forward to meeting you in person when I come visit you in Vancouver, or when I'm around in Vancouver. But thank you so much for doing this with us. Thank you for spending the time with me today. And good luck. And I cannot wait to hear what you end up creating in the next 6 months or next 1 year. I'm sure you're going to double it all over again.
I've got big plans.
I'm sure you do. Yeah, I'm sure you do. So maybe in 6 months or a year from now, we're going to have to re-record this to record all your wins.
Sure. Awesome. Well, thanks for taking me to the next level.
Oh, yeah, of course. You're so welcome. It's the joy of my life to do that. So, of course, anytime. But good luck with your week ahead, and have a great evening. I know it's evening time for you now, so I'm going to let you go. But have a great rest of your week, and I'll catch you really soon.
All right. Bye, Satya.